Tony's kind of a grandfather of punk in Amsterdam, I think, in a lot of ways. You know, he's played with so many people.
Legendary. Legendary. I mean, he can keep up with the best of them. I mean, that's why he's revered and surrounded by legendary people.
He's very unique. He's just Tony, and there's no one else like him. And I really like him.
Tony, ja, die heeft zich verslapen. Hij slaapt niet veel, maar als hij doet, dan is het ook goed. Het kan dat hij al bezig is om de taxi te wachten. Het kan ook dat hij is gaan lopen omdat hij geen geld meer heeft voor de tram.
Tony zijn gitaar.
In dat geval staat de taxi er nu voor lul. En dan zal Leon zo wel een telefoontje krijgen van een boven taxichauffeur.
Tony die heeft een taxi moet cash. Heeft iemand cash bij? Oh ja.
Ja, alsjeblieft.
Good morning.
Oké, merci. Veel plezier.
Yo.
Goedemorgen.
Ik heb de hele tijd in B.G.K gespeeld, van begin tot eind. En daarvoor speelde ik ook in de Nitwitz. En B.G.K is natuurlijk eigenlijk een opvolgerband van de Nitwitz.
Toen Steven ermee ophield, de gitarist, toen zochten ze een oplossing. Toen vroegen ze mij om te komen bassen. Maar ja, toen moest Tony gaan gitaren. Dus Tony heeft een 2 snaren erbij gekregen.
Dat was een 6, maar nu komen er 2 vooraf. Zoek vooraf. Dus het wordt er echt 8. Ja, dus 2 plus 6.
Ik heb er heel veel geleerd, want ik kon er helemaal geen reet van. Want wij geloofden, die punklegende, dat je helemaal niet hoeft te kunnen spelen om punk te spelen. Maar dit klopt natuurlijk niet.
Somehow word came back to me that this band Loveslug that was on Glitterhouse was interested in getting me over to Europe to record their next record. That was my first time working with Tony and the boys, the Loveslug gentlemen. I think he's a better lyricist in the English language than almost anybody I know for whom English is their first language. I maybe I'm not the first one to say that, but I think his lyrics are hysterically funny. He has a very good way with words.
I'm looking for some leftovers to eat. That's you, Dada. Young fresh meat or some old cadaver. It doesn't matter, just gotta have her. I'm running. Got my tail between my legs.
He's a killer guitar player. He's a ridiculous riff generator. You know, I think he's just supremely talented rock and roll musician in every way. I've always been a fan.
She's waiting for the call. Time to do it to you. Till you can bow. Now number.
The first time I met Tony would have been 94 or 95. I was pulled over to Europe to play a tour with Shotgun Rationale, and Tony was actually playing bass, which kind of blew my mind. I knew B.G.K from my hardcore days. I was like, wait a minute, that guy's playing bass? Why isn't he playing guitar? And I was on guitar, and in my opinion, I sucked on guitar, and I thought that there was like the universe was upside down. Like, he should be playing guitar, I should be playing bass. And I'm pretty sure he's like, I don't know why the fuck you're playing guitar, I'm better than you. And he wasn't lying. His skill set was so incredible that I had to push myself harder, I want to say, than I normally would. Because I'm, like most musicians, I'm incredibly lazy. Like, I'll write something, I'm like, oh, that's good enough. You know, good enough for punk rock. But Tony doesn't think like that. He's dissecting. The most memorable moment, like I would say the happiest moment I had with Tony, we wanted him to play a solo, and he's like just like sacked out on the sofa in the studio in Cologne, and I'm like, hey Tony, wake up, it's time to play your solo. And he goes, and I throw him a Les Paul, and he just shredded a solo in like 8 seconds, like perfectly, and then he goes, good enough for you, Turtles, and lays this guitar down and passes back out, you know? Like how the fuck does he do that? Like, good enough for you, Turtles. Like, because everyone's a turtle except him, but he's a king of the turtles.
Hey, Rob.
Hey! All right. How are you? Okay, great seeing you.
How's it going? Great to see you.
Check
Good
this
to
out.
see you.
We still haven't fixed those.
Yeah. We were doing the first tour in Europe, and I think there was something like we went up to Epitaph Records. For some reason, Tony was there. So when we met, I of course I knew about B.G.K. and Loveslug. It was kind of like, instead of talking to the Epitaph people, we started talking to him about Sonic's Rendezvous Band, which I was a huge fan of, but I didn't know much. I just had this City Slang 7-inch, which I had heard a few years earlier. And we started talking about that, and he said he had, I've got some bootlegs. And so I think that must have been a day off or something, so we hung out. And yeah, that's how we became friends. Well, I mean, I knew he was a really good guitar player, and he had a knack for monstrous riffs. Around this time, I think it's maybe 98 or so, word got around to Scott Morgan, who used to play in Sonic's Rendezvous Band, that we were fans somehow. I don't know through who or whatever. Around that time we decided to form, or Tony did, I don't know. It was probably not my idea, but I think it was an idea that I really, really liked. So I said, well, I could play drums, and obviously Tony on guitar, and Theo on bass, and Scott on guitar and vocals. So, and then, yeah, we just decided to record an album, which we did. I think it all came together pretty quick.
There's one room full of weed, one room with a few beds, and then there was I don't know if I can say this, but we're in Holland. Yeah, there was one room full of weed, there was one room with a few beds, and there was a living room, I think. And I think we met him every time we were in Holland. And Nick started playing with him in Hydromatics, of course. I think he joined us on stage a few times playing city slang.
I think a lot of musicians have in common that they feel like outsiders. And I think a lot of us probably turn to music as a way, first of all, we listen to music as a way to feel connected to other people's emotions and experiences. And then we join bands in a way to band together with other outcasts to be a little bit less isolated, I guess. Everything else is pretty straightforward and standard.
Then it's two, yeah.
A, B, A, B, C. A, with just the solo of us.
C.
And then A, and then B. And then I met Tony in 1986 when Unseen Force played with B.G.K. You know, I don't remember the show. I remember them being really good and blazingly fast. And they all came and stayed at my house that night. Tony and I stayed friends. You know, respect to Tony. He's been doing this nonstop, and he also hasn't buckled and gotten a real job. And that's kind of an achievement, actually. But it could be a really great rock moment, though, too.
I was thinking just about the dynamics. Like, we'll take it really down, and then in the end, do that da-da-da-da-da, that part, like just look a sledgehammer. You know? It's going to be really like, you know, crescendo.
We should stretch a little bit of time after the C part and before coming back in with the bass and drums solo, I think. He is just the king of riffs, and his guitar strap is longer than anybody in the world. He plays the thing down to his knees. I don't know how he does it. And he plays amazing. I don't know why he's not world famous, except in our little subculture.
No one can play the way that he does, and it's very specific to him, and I think that it's very much just from his soul.
You know, through all the time, he always would support and prop us up, even so much as to get us involved in this project, because he knows, you know, the scene we come from, and you know what our true first love was. when me and Del started our band, you know, we didn't know what we were doing. We just got out there, but he was a #1 supporter, and not just like, you guys are gonna do okay. Like he's always propped us up. You guys are gonna be amazing. He would always, you are amazing, and encouraging. And, you know, for, you know, anything anybody would possibly have to say about him being crazy or whatever, he also is a caring person. He has a good heart, and he cares about people. You know, so when he gets down to the brass tacks, if you're in his life, he does care about you, and you will know it.
This is a new one. Let's go 1,000 miles.